Booking Holdings stocks falling right now. Earnings beat estimates, but the company's forecasting slower growth in room nights booked for the current quarter. Join us now, Glenn Fogel, Booking Holdings CEO and a CNBC CEO council member. Things are, I mean, this is what I gleaned from the report, Glenn. Things are still pretty darn good, just maybe not as much as that initial snapback we saw after the pandemic. But everything, there were mostly positive numbers, like the 7% number I kept seeing in terms of, the most important metrics for the company, up 7, not down 7 at least.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Joe. And I totally agree. I was pretty impressed with how we did last quarter. Like the numbers came in above almost all the estimates we had given in the last call. Now, one thing that we came in line with our estimate was due to the decrease in airline ticket prices, because that brought down our gross bookings. But everything else, really good. And we did talk a little bit of mild moderation in Europe, for example. But overall, we're very happy with things, and we're reaffirming our whole year and even increased our EPS for the year. So we're pleased.
But you mentioned it in passing, what may have been, not as good as you'd really like, because to account for our 7% drop, it's been a good performer, obviously. But now you're back to levels that you took 3-4 months to get up there to over 4,000, and one fell swoop. Here we are back down 3,400 again. What was it? That puts it in a lot better perspective there. But there is some disappointment at being expressed today. What is it? Go into it and what happened.
It's really hard to get into the short-term traders' mindset.
But you know what it is. You know what it is.
I know this. I know that in the long run, more people are going to want to travel. They're going to do more travel. We're going to get more share. We're going to continue to do what we've done over the 24 years I've been at this company. I remember back when the stock was, you mentioned going above 4,000. I remember we were $6 a share when I was first part of this company. So I'm pleased with the long term, and that's the way I look at it. And sure, there's going to be short-term volatility, and people are going to come up with all sorts of reasons why things may not be good this quarter or next quarter, whatever. I always stress to the investors, you got to think for the long term.
But you actually mentioned it. And that's all I'm asking you to tell us is what did you say that there were some slower airplane?
I mean, here's the thing: is look, there's no doubt that the prices for flights have gone down in certain parts of the world, which of course some consumers are very, very happy about. But that definitely impacts what the total dollar value of our gross bookings is. But what's important, of course, is not the total dollar value of the travel, it's how much money do we make on it. And that didn't impact the revenue at all, because we don't get a lot of money depending on how much the price of the airline ticket is. We make most of our money in other areas, and certainly not we don't have commissions on the flights. So if the flights go up or down, that's not going to be a big factor for the performance of the company.
Right, but you do see the number, and it maybe gives people pause. Will that be evident in the next quarter in your outlook? Will those same factors be present?
Again, hopefully the investors are not focusing on something that doesn't impact the total amount of cash flow that comes into the company. So I'm not sure how much that really mattered. But I will say, look, we did say mild moderation, and there's no doubt, look, we got a great benefit out of the revenge travel phenomenon when we came out of pandemic. And there could be a little bit of a pause in some people's mind or not, or there could be some concern about certain parts of the world, the economies, et cetera. Again, that short-term thinking, and I really have to keep stressing the same thing over and over again, is in the long run, we have a lot of great tailwinds.
In the long run, how's AI going to, we talked about that last time you were on, that probably would help in certain areas, just to...
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we're getting all sorts of benefits, AI, whether it goes to productivity in terms of making customer service more efficient, or it's coming up with new ways for travelers to be able to more efficiently be able to choose what they want to do, how they want to do it. All sorts of parts of our business are going to be better. And it certainly helps us in terms of the internal productivity, because one of the things we talked about last night is making sure that we keep our fixed OPEX in control. And that's something we emphasized last night. That's something that we are looking at, and AI is very helpful to that.
We've seen across the board certain sectors of the economy maybe more vulnerable to a consumer that's not feeling, that flush, apparently. And it's somewhat recent, I'd say in the last 6 weeks or so. Now, we had a sell-off in the overall stock market yesterday. We're looking at things today that the 10-year, suddenly the 10-year note's below 4%. So there are some signs. Can you see anything at all in either luxury, the high end or the low end of your business that confirms this? And we're going to get a jobs number later today, too. Are we in a slowdown?
Well, we've definitely heard people talking about a two-speed economy in the U.S., where people saying, gee, at the lower part of the economy, people who are, not doing as well may be being more impacted. But from our own data, we're not seeing a lot of that. And again, we're very global. So we definitely look at it on a global perspective, and we're really not seeing globally a pullback in terms of either star ratings or in terms of length of stay, which are the ones that usually are the canaries in the coal mine when you start seeing a pullback in travel. Yeah, there's some parts of the world where maybe at the lower end, there's a little bit of a pullback. But again, we're very global, so I'm not taking too much into that.